week, Mackenzie, thanks for joining us. So Mackenzie is our Senior Content Marketing Exec. Very handily, is that a word, handily? Very handily, it is now. You, a week or so ago, posted something on LinkedIn, which was a bit of an intro to all your followers, your fans on LinkedIn, which documented, again, very interestingly, a couple of side hustles, a couple of pies that you've got your fingers in outside of everything Flaunt. So I think there's going to be a bit of a theme when we're talking through. I don't want it to be run me through your CV and tell me where you've lived, every postcode and all that, because I think that's just tedious. But I think the theme that's going to, you're going to say rightly or wrongly, I guess, whether I'm right here, the theme across everything that you do currently, side hustles, and obviously at Flaunt is all about content. Different forms, different types, different audiences, I'm presuming, and the challenges that come with that. But I guess if you don't mind starting us off, just to get a bit of a flavour for Senior Content Marketing Exec at Flaunt, what types of content would you be kind of looking at? What's your day-to-day, for example, at Flaunt?
Everything from like blog posts, pillar content, landing pages.
What's pillar content for people who might not know? Or how do we define it, I guess, because we might define it slightly differently too.
I'd say pillar content is anything from a product description to an opening page, say like if you've got a duvet page at the top before you go into the individual products, just opening everything up.
So do you, in your day-to-day, is it writing fresh content necessarily, or how does that work with existing versus like new content?
It varies from every client. We do a lot of optimised content recently, just optimising what's already on the site, making it better, trying to get featured snippets for Google.
Shout out to Goose, our content optimisation tool. Cool, that's very useful, because I think it's fair to say that your kind of day-to-day from a content writing optimization perspective at Flaunt, fair to say it's online web content.
Yeah.
However, in your spare time, let's call them side hustles, you, as I say, very handily, using that word again, in your LinkedIn post mentioned a food blog and dog portraits. So let's go for them in order. So your day-to-day, Monday to Friday, is obviously here at Flaunt, doing your senior content stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the food stuff.
So the food stuff stemmed actually from travelling to Australia. That is where it all started. It was a travel blog originally.
I didn't know that. All right. Nice.
But it turned out that all I did was post the food I was eating and not much of anything else.
Did you do anything else?
No. So my friend was like, you need to make this a food blog because all you do is eat out. And it just stemmed from there, just going around reviewing food places. And then when I got home, it was more about the locals and helping them, because we'd just like gone into lockdown as well, like a year later after making it, and just helping them stay on their feet and push the fact that they are still open.
Nice.
And then when it reopened, getting back out there. Just fun to do, isn't it? Writing about food.
You may as well give yourself a shout out here. How do people get into, what do you say to bloggers and people at this point? I have no idea. How do you get in touch with you? Do you like and subscribe? What I don't know.
It's all on Instagram. It's Food Talk with Mackenzie.
So my first question around that is, are there any parallels from Food Talk with Mackenzie on a day-to-day weekend, however you spend your time or decide to spend your time with your first side hustle of many? What are the crossovers between your day-to-day at Flaunt and then that sort of stuff, if there are any?
I would say there is a big crossover. A lot of food bloggers focus on the photo, whereas I don't. I will just take a photo. All my photos are not edited.
That's interesting.
At all. They're just cropped.
Is that a purposeful decision, or just how it's ended up?
It's just how it's ended up. I just find it a lot easier than sitting there and spending hours editing a photo when I'd rather write the review.
Yeah.
So it's just a quick photo on my phone, maybe a video, and then I spend a lot of time thinking about the content and writing about the food.
Have any of the restaurants or brands or whatever that you've encountered and worked with Have they ever like spotted that or picked up on that versus other, let's say, food bloggers that they might have worked with or considered? Have they noticed that you're more the writing side of?
I would say so, because a lot of people come to me to actually feature on my website blog
Right.
as well as the Instagram, so then they get both rather than just the photos.
Right.
Obviously reels and stuff are huge as well now, so they are asking for that
Yeah.
as well as the written content on top.
Where did where did the blogging come from in the first place? Have you always loved writing or had an interest? Is that how it came about?
I'd say it's from my degree. I did an art degree, but for my degree show I did a blog
Right.
to document the stages of my degree show, because my degree show is bringing the outdoors in, doing all like natural stuff. I didn't use any paints and stuff. I used like coffee, flowers,
Nice.
beetroot, and I just documented the growth within the installation on a blog, writing that up. So I was always interested in writing.
So so baseline, you've always had an interest in it,
Yeah.
and then you thought of the kind of travel angle with Australia, and it naturally went into food. So whilst we're on the topic, this is just perfect segue of content and food. I understand, I don't know why I'm talking to you like this, I work with you. I understand, secret is out, that there's a huge piece of content that you're currently working on, and I believe, what is it, 90% done, or have I oversold it there? Talk to us about the food and drink report.
Yeah.
Where's it come from? Why? Who do you think it could help? Give us little snippets of what might be in there.
Yeah, so the food and drink report's huge report, very similar to the skincare report that's already on the Flaunt site. Just trying to bring more of the food and drink angle to Flaunt. It has everything in there from social media tips, all bringing like TikTok and reels to your brand, because video is huge within the food industry. From the new rules and regulations about like calories on menus, and just digitalising your whole company, especially with lockdown. Everything went digital, from QR codes to order, like delivery boxes.
Yeah, it's been massively overhauled. The content, the idea behind that report, obviously you mentioned there's a skincare report, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, that put that together, a mammoth piece of work. Tom, who's no longer with us, was kind of leading that because he had the natural interest in the background. Is that where the food and drink report has come from, that same concept, but living in your head really has been an interest?
Yeah, it's just something I'm really interested in. It's fun to write, and I learned a lot for my own blog by doing it as well.
Yeah.
Learning like tips I could bring to Flaunt for others.
Do you think that the insights that are in there are born out of kind of your own experience? A lot of it is your own experience, because obviously with your side hustle with the Food Talks blog, how have you learned in both directions, or how useful has the food blogging been to input into the insights that you're including in the food and drink report?
The social media section has definitely helped.
Yeah.
Stuff from like how long to do captions, what to include.
Right, yeah.
And also I'd say the bit on food influencers that is in there. So like how brands should be approaching food influencers is a big part on that, because I did interview like a couple of other food influencers for it.
Right,
to see how they like to be approached, or their requirements for like posting content for a brand, etc.
Do they all have different requirements, or was it all pretty?
It was all pretty similar. Like the way they wanted to be approached was similar, but what they wanted from it does vary from blogger to blogger.
Interesting from a brand's perspective that there's almost similarities there.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this report. We've already started eking it out into the world of food and drink. Hospitality as well is in there. Tech, you mentioned obviously as well. So that it touches upon the wider landscape, doesn't it? I don't know if you don't want to kind of jump the gun here and start bigging ourselves up beyond our own four walls or whatever, but I know that at first it's a mammoth piece of work in it. What is it? How many pages are we on now?
Something silly.
40, something like that.
40.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Tons of insights in there. I like to think that there's going to be something in there for everyone that we've just mentioned there, like under that wider umbrella of food and drink, for example. So we, for example, work with quite a few hospitality groups, restaurant groups, etc. But it's not just for them. So who do you think, like your gut feeling, who's the audience? Who are these people that we ideally want to get this report? Hopefully they're listening, and they'll get in touch and ask us for the report when it's done. But who would you like to see reading it and learning from it? What kind of job titles? What kind of sectors?
I would say like individual business owners, like even if it's a small business, that would really work.
Right, good.
And anyone within the marketing field within food and drink.
So you reckon tech as well?
Yeah.
Food tech, obviously the big delivery services, all of those. That's good to know. I believe, I'm jumping the gun here, I'm sure we'll cover it off in a future episode when it's actually live, because it's not live yet. But as I say, we're about 90%, would you say, of the way there, just designing it, etc. I think we're going to sit it on our website, as far as I'm aware. I'm not going to commit to a date whilst we're recording this, but I'm hoping it's definitely, I'm wincing it this side of Christmas.
Yeah, like September time.
Right, September time. So based on that then, marketing managers, kind of small business owners as well, but the full spectrum of anyone who might touch upon tech, marketing, all that sort of stuff in either food and drink, hospitality. Very good. I am going to change the tune completely and go back to your degree and your second side hustle. So I'm going to pull it up to make sure I'm saying it right. So graduated with a degree in art.
I did.
You obviously talked us through what you did there. The outside, bringing the outside in. Dog portraits though. Tell us about Mackenzie Brook art.
So that actually stemmed in the second lockdown. Mainly boredom, I'd say.
Side hustles and lockdown.
Yeah, all the time. I just was clearing out my room and found all my art stuff.
Right.
And it was kind of sad to say that I'd wasted about 4 years at uni and not actually done anything major. So I just started drawing the pets I've got home, post them on Instagram, and next minute people are asking.
Is that actually what happened then?
Yeah,
organically?
I just posted 2 portraits of my dog and my cat, and next minute I had like 10 orders and was swamped till the end of the year.
I've got to say they are bloody impressive, so anyone check it out. How far and wide have the kind of commissions come in? Is it just, are you quite local, tight?
A lot have been local. I think I've posted 2. I think the first is like Manchester, so it is round here. A lot from like my dad's work. Right. Because he has one on his wall.
It's interesting. My stepdad is a painter and he typically does dogs.
Yeah.
And he's got some little business cards printed and he puts them in like cafes, pubs, on like walking spots.
Yeah.
And obviously we live in beautiful Yorkshire, so there's plenty of them. Do you need to do anything like that? Is it just happening organically online?
It is, yeah. And with everything else I do, I tend to just try and do like 1 or 2 a month because it takes so long anyway.
I was going to ask you how long would it typically? Is there even an average?
I do like an hour each night before bed, so like a week, so like 5-6 hours. Right. For each one.
Wow.
So it depends on the dog.
It's impressive that in case it's moving. It's impressive though that for me, this has made me acutely aware, kind of inwardly looking that I do bugger all outside really. No side hustle type stuff. Might have the odd interest and hobby, but it's impressive that you've got almost content in different formats, bringing it back boringly, but whatever, to your day-to-day here at Flaunt from a content perspective. It's those different formats you're almost I feel like you'd probably be getting different things, different feelings back from the audience in those different formats across those different kind of content types. And I'm presuming, I guess there's a question here, there are similarities, there are learnings that can be taken from one over to the other.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's your next side hustle going to be? Do you even have any bloody time for anything else?
Breathing, sleeping.
Yeah.
Travelling.
Yeah. You might need to go and start that travel blog up again. Cool. So, how do people remind people how they get in touch? They're at home, they're listening, they've got spaghetti bolognese on, and they've just looked down and gone, "I've got a dog, and I don't have a paint, I don't have a drawing, sorry, of my dog." What do they do? How do they get in touch with you?
That's also Instagram, so that's Mackenzie_Brook_art.
Nailed it.
Clever.